Welcome to Tea Time with Kitty. How are you all doing today on this windy Wednesday? It is now 5:11. We're going to give people a little time to get logged in, and then we'll be getting started. I had to stop and grab me a bite to eat. So when I grabbed a bite to eat, I grabbed me some raspberry tea from KFC. Hardly ever eat KFC. I hardly ever eat a lot of different things. I'm definitely not one that eats out as much, but I needed something to drink. So I said, let me grab some raspberry tea. And so I'm having some raspberry tea today. So, how is everyone doing? Again, welcome to Tea Time with Kitty. It's on a windy Wednesday. A windy Wednesday today. My cousin told me to make sure that you are mindful to hit the like button. So make sure you please hit the like button. I am trying to do something a little different with the lightning. I know one of the things is I ordered the lights from Amazon. However, now I got to figure out how to work them, and I'm home alone, so there's nobody here to help me. But just please make sure you hit the like button, and we're going to be getting started in one more minute. So if you could just chime in and let me know who's on with me today, so that I can see who I am sipping tea with. So who is in the building today? Please hit the like button. Okay, so I see that I have people here with me today, but no one's chatting in. So I need you to get ready to chat in for our discussion today. And we'll be getting started in 1 second. Please hit the like button. And I think the other thing I'm supposed to say is, and make sure you subscribe. Okay. Hi, Tamika Eastep. And hi, sis. Not in the day. And hi, daughter and Nala. Okay. Hey, sis. Hello, everyone. So we're getting started. So today we're going to talk about anxiety. Before I go into anxiety, I did want to say that my niece gave me an idea. She said to try something different. I just read her message, and she talked about trying to figure out a way to do some round table. So I'm going to reach out to her. Her name is Ray Unique. She'll be graduating next month with her master's, and to try to see how she can help me chime in on some ways that I can do a round table in the midst of COVID. So I just wanted to say I received that from her. So I wanted to make sure I acknowledge that for my cousin Latrell. She let me know to make sure I tell people to hit the like button and subscribe. She said that's important. So I just wanted to make sure that when I get feedback from persons that I share. So again, today we're talking about anxiety. We're going to talk about two different types of anxiety today. So with anxiety, sometimes it's like good and bad. Like we sometimes have anxiety about an interview. We have anxiety about positive things in our life as well as negative things. But the reason why I thought we would talk about anxiety today is because when I was reading Facebook on Facebook yesterday, I seen a lot of my friends on Facebook talk about having a whole bunch of anxiety. Hi, Robin. Hi, sister. So glad you can join. Thank you so much. I've heard a lot of people say that they were having anxiety waiting on the verdict of the trial on yesterday. So I just want to hear from you all a little bit. We're going to spend a little bit of time on that today. Like, is there anybody sipping tea with me today that had anxiety about the verdict of the trial on yesterday? I heard so many people saying that they had anxiety. I caught glimpse of the trial through friends. My sister Midget, my daughter Yanni, and my friend often keeps me abreast with what's going on with a lot of news because I really don't watch the news a lot. So I really didn't get to watch the trial as much because like I had my own issues. Thank you for the hat, sis. The head's under construction. And I see Nathaniel coming in saying, nope, he didn't have any anxiety. Was there anybody else that had any anxiety around the verdict of the trial yesterday? Because I've seen so many people on Facebook talk about having anxiety around the trial yesterday. So I wanted to talk about that and to see if anybody had anxiety around that. So for me, even though I didn't watch the trial, my whole thing is I felt that they would convict him. I felt because of political reasons that they would find him guilty. But the other thing that I talked to my friend about is, okay, so after they find him guilty, what happens after that? Because like it's easy to find somebody guilty. So then do he go to jail? And if he goes to jail, are they going to hide him out? Because see, for most of us, and I only know a whole bunch of African Americans, but for most of us, that guilty verdict was enough. But who really monitors to make sure this man really goes to jail? So I'm just going to go look at some of the comments I got. So Tamika stated that she was anxious because what it means for my job, increased call back, possible protest. Sister Flash said no anxiety. So Lewis, absolutely. So I'm not sure if that was for the anxiety, but absolutely, if you think that he'll go to jail or not. And then Tamika again, I just wasn't ready to deal with the unrest. Right, the unrest. Yes, no anxiety from Sister Robin. So just trying to get a feel for that. So like, who really monitor it to see what happens after this? The Dr. Greenwood is saying hello to the newly Mrs. Easter. Okay. So how do we really know that this man goes to jail? So okay, so we already heard the verdict. And now after we've heard the verdict, now we're going to wait for his sentencing. To my understanding, that's the next step. Now, do anybody know, as far as those sipping tea with me today, was he incarcerated awaiting the trial, or was he, because I did see like on the news where they like walked him away. So was he in custody waiting the trial, or was he out on his own reconnaissance? I believe that's what they call it. So he was out on bond. Okay, so he was out on bond. So once he was found guilty, was he arrested? Is that why he kind of walked away with the police officers? Well, they're not police officers. What are they in the court? Bailiffs. So he was arrested. So is that why he left with the bailiffs? So do he go to jail now? Just trying to get an understanding. He was not out on. He was not out on bond. Okay, so Mika, your nephew said he was out on bond. No, out on bond. He was not out on bond. Okay. So Mika, are you saying that he was locked up the whole time that the trial was going on? Okay. Okay, he remained until sentencing. Yes, they removed the bond. He went to okay. So because he's found guilty, they removed it. Okay, so now he goes. No, I didn't see his face. He was shocked that they charged him. Oh wow, because it's really even aside from the race, the whole little thing when we look at race, it's really hard to find a police officer guilty too. I think he was initially let out on bond, but it was removed. Okay, so that means that right now today, I'm just trying to make sure I have this correct. So right now today, he is incarcerated, waiting his sentencing. Is that what's going on now with that? Okay, so right. Okay, so I want to just know, like, so what would you all suggest to me a way that I can figure out? So after sentencing, so now we're waiting for him to be sentenced. What is a way that I can make sure he in jail? Because I was asking my friend, I said, is he going to show up on the beer? Hold on, what's the name of that? The federal beer on the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Will he come up on that? So he told me no, he wouldn't. He'll be going to a penitentiary. He is in jail awaiting sentencing. So, okay, so Mika, I got that part, him being in jail awaiting sentencing, but like, how do we know that he's really like going to do the time that they sent out to give him? Like, how do we know if he stays in? Like, is there a way that, because I know Mika, you're really good with researching this kind of stuff and getting on to somebody's business if you want to. So how will we be able to make sure that it's really him in jail doing time for this? So that's what I would want to know down the line. Like, how can I find out a little bit more about that? Okay, so okay. So once he's sentenced, it will be on the BOP. So even if he's in a penitentiary, so hold on, someone else's message. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. What is Kiki? Beer. Okay. So Kiki saying beer or prisons also. Okay. All right. So now we're going to move into another form of anxiety. So the another form of anxiety that I'm having is around our children. So I put a post on Facebook yesterday, but I realized that it was a little confusing because with me saying leaving the nest, it automatically made people think that I was talking about older children. But so I should have said it a little different way. I didn't get my words together to say how I should have said that. But I'm talking about little children. No, not little children. Hold on, let me correct it. Hold on. What was that? I'm talking about teenage children. So we have teenagers. A lot of us have teenagers. And we don't have our own teenagers. We have nieces and nephews. We may have little brothers and sisters. We may even have grandchildren. So, with today's time, even with our time, we all like to get out. We like to be independent. We like to hang out with our friends. But surrounding a situation that just happened at Dave and Buster's, I want to say it was Saturday. Not for sure. I believe it was Saturday. But really, like, how does it feel to have your kids go out to enjoy themselves and not have serious cases of anxiety? So, meaning that when Pookie and Yanni and Ronita was coming up, like, I was the mother that I would take them to, like, they wanted to go to the Kid Go-Go's. So for a long time, I took them to the Kid Go-Go's. I stayed there with them. We went to circus together. We went to movies together. So everything we pretty much did as a family, from church to the club, we did as a family. But I know a lot of parents may not be able to take advantage of that because of working. They could be in school, they could be raising other children, or some of them may not be able to be as involved just because of their parenting. So, not to critique any parenting, but it could be for various reasons. So, how do you all feel right now? And I'm just going to put a cap on it. I'm going to say, because when I think of teenager, I think of any number ending with teen. So, I'm just going to say 13 and 19. We all know that our 18-year-olds pretty much think that they're grown. But how do you feel about letting your children go out to have a good time and balance your anxiety? Because I just can't do it. Like, it's just so much going on right now that you just can't. So, like, how do you shelter them from their young independence as teenager with making good choices and decisions with all that's going on? So Tamika says it's so hard. I want to just drop them off and let them be kids, but we cannot right now. It's just too dangerous. The other Tamika stated, or even the teen that was just jumped in Ohio and went to get the knife and was shot to death by the police. Right. So exactly. So much is just going on. So if you're a parent right now and you're parenting, some may be younger, some may be a little older, but if you're parenting a child between the age of 13 and 19, let's even take it back to 12, because I believe it was a 12-year-old involved in the Dave and Buster's situation as well. So just taking it back to a 12-year-old or 13-year-old, how do you allow, please teach me or suggest to me, how do you allow for your child to enjoy life without you having anxiety? Definitely gives me anxiety. My baby still has to grow, and I would want to go with her and her friends one day. I will want to go out with her and her friends one day. Okay. So tell me, how do you do it? Like, I just want to hear from some prayer. I know people talk about all the time, okay, you pray over them, got it. I love the Lord. I know how to pray, intercede for them daily. But I mean, really, even with praying, even with trusting, how do you as moms really get out? Oh, okay. So I don't know if it's Kaya or Camille, but said what happened to Dave and Buster. So again, I try not to say as much information on situations because I'm not doing fact finding and I wouldn't want to speak. But what I do know is some teenagers got into it at Dave and Buster's, and it kind of spilled out into the Smoothie King. The Dave and Buster's right at BJ's, right near BJ's. So the part that I do know, one teen was shot and killed, and someone who, if I'm wrong, please correct me so I can correct it right away. But one of the teenagers was shot and killed. He was 13, and another 13-year-old teenager was stabbed. So I know it was some back and forth with the ages, because I know initially when the news ran it, they said 16. But that's pretty much what happened. And I think it happened Saturday, Camille. So right now, with everything going, aside from them being subject to violence from police officers, subject to violence from the streets, even going out on a nice social, because these are kids that, let's just think about it for a second. These are kids that was not at the go-go, because the first thing people say, was they at the club? They was at the go-go. Was they out 1:00 in the morning? This was not that scenario at all. So we have someone say, I stress myself out for so many years, but my 19-year-old now, and I just have to pray as I do. Okay, so just praying. Okay, so Tamika saying one was shot and one was stabbed. Um, and Marquisa, I used to have bad anxiety. And I mean, in this reason, like I even would do it with my brothers or my sons, just being a black male coming and going. And then you kind of like didn't have to pray for your daughters, where we thought we didn't have to pray for our daughters as much. But the fact that so many girls are being killed now, I'm not sure what's going on or what is it stemming from, but I have never ever, and like, and we were raised in the 80s where DC was the nation's was the crime capital of the nation at that time. So it was really bad. But even then, it was mainly guys and not as much women, children, and older people. And now at this day and time, anything can happen to anybody. So I just really wanted to hear from you all, like, help me cope. So remember, this is like a therapy session where we give something to each other and we take something back. But I just want to know, like, how do you truly cope? Like, is praying the only technique, or do anybody else have another technique? Is it anybody that's just a parent like me and I just try to keep mine in? And I tell people all the time, it's about well, okay, so it's kind of about knowing your kids, and then it's not knowing your kids, because like my two youngest twins, I definitely know that they're not able to make good choices and decisions. So I am very limited to what I allow them to do and where I allow them to go. But then you may take a child, like my 19-year-old twins, who are not children who typically make bad choices and bad decisions, but they can be easily led. So I believe that, because I've done so much as a teenager, I believe that if a child is not in the presence of their parents, they may do just about anything. So that's one side of the child, like not knowing. But then if you're a parent and you know what your child is capable of, do you protect society from your child? So if you know that you're raising a monster, hi sis. Okay, so if you know you're raising a monster, do you let that child out into society? Like, do you, if you know that they're this type of child, do you still just let them go out and roam the street? Because I see some bad kids doing a lot of bad things. I remember one time being at the gas station across from the Safeway on Nella and Good Hope Road, and the kids were like picking on people, throwing stuff at people's cars, and all those types of things. You just looking at them like, won't somebody get their child? Or you may have rode the bus and seen kids on the bus loud and disrespectful, and you just kind of wonder, like, who are they parents? Like, and again, it could be two types of children. One could be the type that really does not act this way, but just doing this in front of their peers. And then you have to look at the other kids, like two that I have, that they do act like this. So knowing that they act like this, and how do you deal with it? So parents, if you are parenting a teen, or even if your teen is now an adult, or your child is just not a teen yet, what would be some things that you would suggest to some of the parents? I know my cousin Kiki, as well as myself, say that we have anxiety around this thing. What would you like? Are you able to just be like, okay, I'm going to pray, you go ahead and do it your way? Or, are you the type of parent that's just holding the child inside the house? How do you manage or parenting a teenager who is trying to gain self, trying to gain independence in the society that we're in right now? Because I just really truly feel like this is not a time where your child can honestly exercise independence. And it can be something as small as catching a train or the bus home from school. That's not even safe anymore. So your child don't have to be doing anything wrong to be for kids, for other children, just to come in contact with them. So tell me some remedies on how I can get better with this thing, to get rid of my anxiety around dealing with my kids. Like, can you all help me out with some suggestions to help me not have as much anxiety with parenting? Someone has to have an example, or even a suggestion to make to help us get through with it. Because I know that they definitely get on your nerve and you just want to put them out the house and tell them to go play somewhere, just leave you alone for a few seconds. But it's just not the time, and it's just not the venue to be able to do those things. So I really need to hear from you all. I'm just looking back over to make sure I didn't miss anything. Other than praying, other than keeping them in the house, what's another suggestion, or how do you think that it could get better with having our children have their independence and being able to go to Dave and Buster's or being able to go to the mall or even to the movie theater with friends and to know that they're going to come back home safely. How does it look? Like, what does it look like? How does it work? So no one out there has any teenagers between the ages of 13 and 19 or even 12, and you never get anxiety when your kids are out. What do you do with them? I don't think we should. I like the way you raised Pookie and Yanni. Thank you. It doesn't. Um, yeah, I like them being with you. Okay, so it's coming in now. I like the children being with you because it doesn't work. Honestly, we have no control. Exactly. So I like that, Kiki. We actually have no control over it because it's life. Okay, lots of time I sit in the car and wait. See, that was me, sister, sit in the car and wait. But what do you all think about parents that's parenting? Like, would you be interested in doing something that's like a parent pool? You know how we engage more when our children are younger. Would you like to engage? Like, say, like if Kitty get all the kids this Friday and I'm taking them to Dave and Buster's, and then Kiki getting them on Saturday and she taking them skating, do you think it will reduce what goes on? How do you feel about that? Just think about that for a second. How do you feel it will reduce what will happen if more parents got involved? Okay, my mother dropped her 17-year-old off and picked her child up at every event, including school. And that's great. If you're that parent that has that type of flexibility to be able to do those types of things, those things are great. But I feel that we really need to get back to the whole idea of it being a village. I think that, and I've always said this, my son actually touched my heart today. My oldest, my fave, because he was talking about when he was literally it's just prayer and what you install is still in them. Okay. And that's my son saying that. Isn't this my son? Because Pookie, this is you, Parkland 35, right? So that's him saying that. So he made me really happy today. So when Pookie was in 12th grade, y'all all know I was a young mom with him. And this is why I say this is just the best kid ever in the world. Like, there's no way you could have been a more better parent without having a Pookie, right? So it was his 12th grade year. He was attending Suitland, and he called me and he said, Mom, tomorrow is senior ditch day, so I gotta hook school. And that touched my heart. He just had a post about that similar on Facebook today. And that to me just really touched my heart that this young black male called to get permission to hook school his 12th grade year. And for most of us by the 12th grade, we probably already did hook once. I mean, we used to sit on Sula Parkway coming out of Johnson. They had nowhere to go. They had nowhere money. And we'll just come out of Johnson, sit on Sula Parkway, and watch cars till school got out. I don't know why we did it. We ain't had much sense. But like that really meant a lot to me, and that let me know at that date, at that time, that my son respect me, because they know that I was big on, just want to know where they were at. Like, it was nothing with raising Pookie and Yanni that I wasn't involved with. It was nothing that we didn't do together. Like I said, I'm that mother. I feel like they need to go to go. I want to go ahead and sneaking. And we went together. So and I'm definitely thankful for that. So I that just really meant a lot to me. So when he had that on his post today, I'm like, wow, this is really true. This is what he did the day before he hooked school in 12th grade. So, and at this time he's probably 18, but that speaks volumes to having a good relationship with your child. So she still allows her to go out and hope for the best. You must allow them to grow. I love the parent pool. My mom always allowed my sisters to have friends and cousins over, even during the school year. Yes, Yvonne has always been outstanding with that. Always a safe haven. I think more parents have to realize we're going to buckle down and sacrifice our lives until they're grown because they need more adults around with the kids. Tamika, that's it. Parents have to buckle down. And I had a friend when we were growing up, and she had a son, and he was really challenging. She tried to punish him, but the thing about it is, she never could successfully punish him because she told him don't come outside. But then it's Friday night, so we about to go see RE. So as soon as we got the door to hit to the go-go, he got the door hitting outside. So I like that buckle down because in order to be an effective parent, you have to sacrifice yourself. And that's so key because, like, of course, even being a parent, being there at Dave and Buster's, we probably couldn't have stopped it, but it would have gave you a sense of peace being able to be there with your child, at their last stage or whatever was going on. So that's what I mean by parent involvement. Yes, you can't stop it all, but it definitely does give you a sense of peace. And if you're like me, you're praying, you're interceding, you're gonna get a whiff of that when something ain't going right. Me, Pookie, and Christian about 5 years ago was at Raphael release party uptown at a little hole in the wall club, and the two guys got to argue. So I'm like, "Come on, Pookie and Christian, we about to go." They was like, "Why we gotta leave?" They was having a good time. I said, I heard somebody say they got a gun. I don't know if I heard nobody say they got a gun. Maybe the Holy Spirit told me somebody had a gun. So Pookie and Christian they had no understanding why. Oh, we about to go. There we go. We about to go. And then check on them while they are out. Phone calls and texts, very important. Very important. And always open up that line of communication to let your kids know that if they feel that something's not right, or if they get into any altercation, call you so you can be on your way. Call them so that you can be on your way. I remember my oldest daughter, Ronita, she's actually my cousin, but I raised her as you all know. And I know that she used to hook school. So I'm working all the way up 16th and past 16th and U. So it's like 16th and Decatur. And she's at Suitland. And she's to try to hook school. And she'll let you know. She'll come out of Suitland with her friends ready to hit it. Who will be in Suitland parking lot waiting for her? I was like, which way we going today, Ronita? And that's what it means by buckling down and being involved. Well, where you look at school at? Oh, there you go, blowing me. But let's just say today, everybody that I have raised under my watch, that goes for Ronita, that goes for Dr. Tamika, that goes for Nathaniel, that goes for Dayon, Alicia, Christian, all of them walked across the stage on time. Most of them went on to college because I have always invested and been there. So if you need to hook school, whether it's a boy that's cute, whether it's a girl that's cute, let me ride to the house with you to see how cute they are because I need to see why you're willing to hook school for this person. So I must say that everybody that came under my watch, under my prayer, all of them were able to finish high school to the bare least. And went on to Job Corps, college, or something, and did what they had to do, and call the police, especially if they felt threatened. Okay, that's very important. Don't feel like you're too big to call the police. I'll tell people in a minute. I will call the police on you in a minute. I will call the police on you, and we're going to talk about that in another session too. We must get away from all of this. You a snitch, and we are losing our lives every day. Let me tell you, I'm a snitch. Okay, so just so that you'll know, so if you need to put me on a block list or whatever you need to do something to somebody I love, and I'm gonna sing like a bird. Like I'm gonna probably be snitching on you before the police can even. So I like to make that disclosure. I just tell my brothers that when I was coming up, I'm not a gangster. So let me first disclose that. I'll defend myself. I'll defend my family. No suck over here. But I'm a snitch. So you do something to me or somebody I love, I'm going to snitch. So as soon as I find out you did it, I'm going to snitch. I'm not going to hide a snitch, but I'm going to let you know I snitch so that you can know in advance, kitty snitch. Okay. So I'm going to make sure I put my alarm on, lock my door, keep my registered gun, and put my little thing that I put on the door just so that you know, because I'm going to call the police on you because, I feel like since you're a gangster, you belong down the penitentiary or somewhere. I'm not a gangster, so I should be able to be out into a normal society and be healthy. But since you're a gangster, let me help you get somewhere. And not only am I going to snitch, I hope they give me a reward because that will help. That $25,000 reward will really help. I'll spend that. But I'm also going to take the stand. So I'm not going to do like a written statement and say, hey, I'm going to take the stand and I'm going to snitch on you because I believe that no one can snitch on you if you didn't do something to get snitched on. Lying and snitching is two different things. We're going to have a topic about that. Lying and snitching is two different things. Someone can lie on you and that's wrong. But if somebody snitch on you, that's not wrong. You knew what you was doing. You did it. You just got caught and somebody helped you get caught. So I think that we need to make sure, I think that we truly need to make sure that we make sure that we are still at inside our kids. Somebody violate you, somebody do something to you, you got a right to tell. You wouldn't want your daughter or your son being molested and holding it inside because people saying they can't be a snitch. So Think about that. We as parents, we got to think. I was a strict mom. I took my son to and from school. I didn't want him on a school bus or metro. If it was anything I could control, I did. The only drawback from that, something from sometimes the kids resent. Okay, and I definitely understand where you are with that, Kiki. That definitely happens a lot. And but I mean, you did what you had to do. You got them to 19. Think about the mothers whose sons didn't make it to 19. So you did what you had to do, what you knew to do, in the best that you could do. Um, you are the moment they are able to get on their own. They don't know what and they will know later. So please never, parents, do not beat yourself up thinking that they're just going to do what they want to do. I went through a wild spree. I truly went through a wild spree, but I was able to find my roots, because if you sow good seeds, they're going to be well, they're going to do well. So again, it's time for us to get ready to wrap this up. I thank you so much for sipping with a sister. I hope that you'll be able to pray away your anxiety, because anxiety has a lot to do with fear. I'm learning to pray. I'm learning to be involved. We're constantly being involved, and I'm also learning to step back. So even when you step back, it doesn't mean you should stop praying. It just means that you're praying from a distance, but you still have a direction for your prayer. So again, thank you so much for sipping with a sister on this Windy Wednesday. I appreciate each and every one of you. Yes, we're letting the sister sip, and I look so forward to seeing you all next Wednesday. Thank you so much.